And on the 364th day, when God was bored and simply trying to use up all his spare leftover parts, he said, I need someone to get up at 3:30 in the morning with a big mouth and a small amount of common sense. So God made a DJ. I need someone whose voice and face don't match, like the roar of a lion coming out of the butt of a chihuahua. So God made a DJ. And then inform you that you're listening to the hot rockin', flame-throwing, booty-kicking, steam-rolling, corn-shucking tower of hit music power that's shaking the lakes and rocking the docks. So God made a DJ. So that one day, when your child comes to you and says, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a policeman, a carny, a clown, or a mime, you will have someone else to point to and say, just so you don't end up like that. And that's why God made a DJ.
Hi, I'm Bill Chamberlain. I want to take a moment to thank Rick Rumble for allowing us to use And So God Made a DJ. You know, for 37 years, I was that bright good morning voice on the radio. Nowadays, it's a bit different. There are no more records, and far too often, it's just a computer. And that's sad. Really sad. In the 60s, the transistor radio made music portable, and it went with us everywhere. We took it to the beach with the Beach Boys and Jan and Dean and the Beatles, 24/7, music blasting in our ear, along with our favorite DJ. Have you ever wondered about the men and women behind the scenes, the DJs that made it all possible? Well, that's why I'm here. I was privileged to work with some of the greatest DJs in the business, and I want to tell their stories before it's too late, before they're all lost. You know, radio is largely a nomadic industry. You're here one day and gone the next. There are so many great stories, hilarious and compelling, about how we were fired and what went on behind the scenes. But above and beyond everything else, we had fun. A lot of fun. Hi, I'm Shotgun Tom Kelly.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
But I got...
You don't have the hat.
I had the hat.
You were going to say you had that, but you don't have the hat.
I don't have the hat.
So you're not Shotgun Tom
No,
Kelly.
I'm Johnny Stockton.
No, you're not.
Johnny Milford?
No, you're not.
Hello, I'm Johnny Midnight.
Trust me, you are not Johnny Midnight.
Okay, I'm Bill Kelly.
Nope. Nope.
Well, then who am I?
You're Bill Chamberlain.
I always thought I was the Nighthawk. Kind of a superhero kind of guy.
It's confusing, isn't it, Bill?
It's very confusing.
Just tell him why we're here.
We're here to talk about his career in radio.
Can't get it right, can you, Bill?
Like, it's just so confusing. If I knew what the hell your last name was, I could get it right.
Let's just go with Johnny Milford Stockton Midnight Esquire III.
Yeah, that clears it up. Top 40 radio DJs were mavericks, well-known celebrities who had listeners that tuned in to them every day at the same time, day after day. And we loved our listeners. They were like family. Our documentary is a glimpse into the life of top 40 radio DJs during the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It really was the golden age of top 40 radio, and it's all but disappeared due to large-scale corporate buyouts. We're asking your help in getting our project completed. Hear the tales of how we were hired and fired, and how everything came together and sometimes fell apart. This is Stories from Behind the Microphone.
The reindeers are spying, and I've got the proof. There's eavesdroppings on the sash and poop on the roof. Dr. Don Rose. Dr. Don. I was at KFRC when he came into the building, when he was brought in from Philadelphia. And I heard him on the air, and I thought, ooh, I don't think it's going to work, because that's not really San Francisco.
Oh,
he's
yeah?
wild. He's Rip Taylor.
Yeah.
Throwing, instead of confetti, all these little voices. I became one of the voices, as it turns out, and I became a big fan of Dr. Don. A zany character on the air telling one corny joke after the other, with all these voices jumping in. And the one I was the one that went,
That's right, Dr. Don.
and I was played hundreds of thousands of times. If I got money for that, I'd be
You'd be a rich
so
man.
wealthy I wouldn't even talk to you. So Dr. Don comes in, and he is this zany character on the air, jokes, corny, and lovable. And he's that way off the air, too. He's walking down the hall telling jokes. One day, according to this wonderful Dr. Don's story, and I was there to see it.
I am sitting here with Dave Hall, the hullabalooer from KRLA in Los Angeles, probably the hottest rock and roll radio station of the 60s. And it is such a pleasure to be here with you, and I really sincerely thank you for allowing us to come down and invade your space for a little while.
Nice of you to say, Bill. We're happy to have you. We're glad you're here.
Well, I'm a nice guy. So, let's talk about your career. Where'd you start?
Well, I started in Armed Forces Radio in North Africa.
North Africa, really?
One day I went by the radio station, and I walked in one day, and a corporal was taking the phone calls, and I said, "How do you get on the air?" He said, "Just a minute, I'll call Lieutenant Gary." Lieutenant Gary came down from his office and said, "You want to go on the air?" I said, "Yes, sir, but I've never been on the air." They said, "You've got a classical show tonight from 6 to 6:15.
Just like that.
I said, "But I don't know anything about classical music, sir." And he said, "That's okay, it's all scripted. Everything is scripted, the music is pulled, everything is ready for you." So at 6 o'clock, he said, "You take this script back to your barracks and you read it over and familiarize yourself and be here at 5:30. Well, I couldn't believe it. I'm on the air. I've never been on the air in my life. I said, "Well, I have two choices. Give them back the script, never go on the air, or take it back to the barracks and learn what I've got to learn." I chose the latter. But unbeknownst to me, it was all in German. So I decided I have two choices. Take this script back and give up radio, or two, fake it.
Fake it.
I chose the latter.
Yes.
So when 5:30 came around, the lieutenant said, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yes, sir, I sure am." And when I started, I made up the words. In the Sonata Krasnorfen, the Feldendorfer, the violinist, will do an outstanding job with her rendition of Hellster Norfendorf. Well, unbeknownst to me, the brigadier general who ran the base that I was on, that the radio station on, loved the classical show at 6 o'clock. Well, it was the next morning. I got a call.
I'll bet you did.
And
There you have it. Stories from behind the microphone. A conversation with some of the best, and you can be a part of our story. How? It's simple. Get behind our project with a donation of $10, $15, maybe $25,000. Okay, that's a joke, but still, every little bit helps. Thank you for your time and consideration. Until later, remember, keep your feet on the wall, keep reaching for the phone, and no matter where you go, there you are. Peace, love, aloha.